If you're ready, sir, I'm ready.
I'm always ready.
All right. Rhetorical question. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey, we are here at the 2017 CUNA Technology Conference, and we're also at the 2017 Operations and Member Experience Council Conference. So we're getting 2 for the price of 1. It's a pretty good deal. How are you, Kurt?
Doing great, Mike. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Hey, let's get a quick update on CU 2.0. There's a book, there's a website, there's a community, there's all sorts of stuff going on. What's the latest?
So the book launch, it got published in June, late June, and so July and August, of course, in credit land, everybody's on vacation. So, so we did kind of a
good book reading time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so great success with the fact that everybody was on vacation, but now that we're back into sort of September, October timeframe, the formal launch is beginning. So,
okay.
Yeah, so we got a whole bunch of stuff going on with that, a bunch of data infographics coming out, a bunch of new content, exclusive videos on random fintech things, all that kind of stuff. So you'll be seeing a lot more out of all of that in the next couple weeks. And
multimedia.
Yeah, and then probably the most exciting thing for today is we have a secret scavenger hunt event going on, and people will have a chance to win a really kick-ass prize this afternoon.
Right on.
So,
is it a scavenger hunt for your books or something?
You get a book along the way, and then there's a secret bag that someone will win that has cool stuff in it.
All right,
so
okay.
The most cool stuff.
All right, well, we'll leave that up to the the winners. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Hey, I've been thinking about you a lot lately because of all the hurricane. I mean, in a good way. I mean, but you guys at ongoing operations, obviously business continuity, disaster recovery, all that type of stuff. With the hurricanes happening, and then I thought about you guys again with the Mexico earthquake. Not that you guys serve anybody down that, but I just think about
all the different things.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
It's interesting.
Your take on that?
Yeah, so historically when Sandy and Katrina and all those came along, we would have 6, 7, 8 credit unions declare all at once, and it'd be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
This was an interesting both in Harvey and in Irma. It was very different in the sense of in both locations we have credit unions that are fully live on the cloud, and for those guys it was like nothing happened. It's like the dream of cloud, which is people went home, they did work from home, the credit union kept working, all that kind of stuff. I think we only had 1 declaration from a credit union between the two different hurricanes, which is incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that was very cool. And then we have an infographic coming out on that. It'll be a couple more weeks still, but we went and surveyed and researched. We tracked 400 credit unions in Harvey of their mean time to recovery for branches, for call center, and for online e-channels. And what was most interesting about that was pretty much the e-channels were up the entire time for all 400 credit unions. There was a handful that got impacted. I think only about 60 got impacted in total. And of those, within 2 or 3 days, almost all of them had everything back up and running.
Amazing.
So we have a bunch of data coming out on that, a lot of research that we've done on that, just to sort of kind of, I think, the good news is I think following Katrina and Sandy and those kind of things, I think credit unions are much better prepared than they have been historically.
You have to be,
and so it's a different operating environment.
Well, and it goes to show you that this type of planning works.
Yeah,
absolutely. This is the proof in the pudding, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. Like our ideal, we do about 2 recoveries a week on a normal basis of just either a crypto locker or a server failure or something like that. And so to just kind of have it be a normal week, despite sort of, I think. Was it Harvey was like as if you flooded Oregon and Washington almost entirely.
How many trillions of water fell out of the sky?
It's
insane. Just a phenomenal number.
So really from a crediting perspective, the recoveries went pretty well.
Oh my gosh. And then you had Irma doing zigzagging all the way up to Peninsula Florida. My gosh.
Exactly.
It's like, what can credit unions do? I mean, obviously, look to you guys for expertise help. Is there anything else that they can do? Are we out of the woods yet with this type of stuff, or?
Yeah, I mean, for me and I were running a credit union, I would just be all cloud, running out of 2 data centers, and just make it so that my employees can work remotely and work from wherever, and then you start getting to the secondary things like, you don't want all of your employees using the same cell phone carrier, and you want people to have home internet, but also data plans on their phones, and just have as many different options as you can.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so in OGOS, part of the reason why we are as virtual as we are. So we have 45, 50 employees. We're in like 14 states. We don't have a cell phone plan that we get for all employees. We just let every employee expense up to a certain dollar amount of their cell phone plan. That way, we make sure that we have some Sprint, some AT&T, some Verizon. Across.
Smart.
We just and usually in every major disaster, one or two of us are impacted and just basically, on the sidelines for that event because we can't get where we need to go, or we can't communicate or whatever. But by having enough diversity in that, it would take a lot to knock down everything. So to me, it's that secondary stuff of learning how to function and operate totally virtually, totally outside of your normal element, and be able to still function as a team and communicate without actually physically being in the same place at the same time.
I mean, those were a couple of good nuggets of information right there. It's like, don't be on the same carrier type of thing. Like, who thinks of that,
Random people at OGO. So, we have, our philosophy is we not only have to be prepared for ourselves, but we have to be prepared for a couple hundred credit unions. And we have to be prepared assuming that they are not. Right. So we have to have another layer of sort of, crazy, plans in that. And it's interesting, as a disaster recovery company, in having that cloud platform, what happens is, it's like firefighters, we all run towards the event. Everybody else is running away, right? And it's just, 50 crazy people who are really passionate about business continuity, disaster recovery, and cloud computing for credit.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so live, drink, sleep it, and just can't wait to jump in on those things.
Well, happy to have you. Happy to have the passion.
Exactly.
Somebody's got to do it. You guys are the people.
It's what I always thought I'd be doing when I grew up.
Good for you. All right. Hey, let's talk about the rest of 2017 and 2018. How do you see it shape? Because you got your hands in a lot of pots here in this industry. So what do you see?
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of momentum building around digital branding, digital marketing, how to build trust online, all of those kind of things. So I'm really excited to see in some of the Amazon reviews and feedback I'm getting from people reading the book and being part of the community are just awesome. Like I'm really excited about that, and I think it's having my desired goal of really connecting with CEOs, boards, management teams, and getting them galvanized around this issue because it's something I'm, of course, really passionate about and really worried about credit unions still being here in 20 years, and this is a key part. So I think seeing a lot of momentum on that. I think we're in good times in the credit union industry where we've had a couple of years of decent profits and, not a lot on the horizon, that looks like it's going to disrupt that, which is good, but that's also the warning sign in my mind after seeing, multiple cycles from the 90s to now. Usually when you're feeling really comfortable, that's about when something's going to kick you in the butt that you weren't expecting. So, just making sure that people are paying attention to those and knocking them down. I think they're unconventional threats. They're not, they're things like, PayPal. I mean, if PayPal went out and suddenly, bought a commercial bank, bought Wells Fargo, and now they had all the digital channel, digital engagement stuff, and a brick and mortar like Amazon buying, Whole Foods. It's a totally different game in that scenario. So to me, it's those kind of things to be watching out for, and just continuing to reinvent the model as quickly as possible. Which some is technology, a lot of it is corporate culture, a lot of it is. Really rethinking how we do business because I think a lot of times we're stuck in how we've always done it.
It's easy to get stuck, especially when times are good.
It's very comfortable, right? And those are the times where you really want to be, laser focused on how do we get ready for the next thing. And the next thing is probably more important to be agile, react quickly, because we don't know how to predict what it is, but it's the same principles of disaster recovery and business continuity. If you know what your strengths are and you know what your weaknesses are and you know how to react quickly and adjust from those, then taking something off the shelf, using data analytics really effectively, using OnApproach or Nexus or digital identities in a really creative way can completely change that opportunity and take it from while everybody else is struggling to analyze and figure it out, you can be already executing on what the market change is going to be. Yeah,
well, I mean, when times are good, I think for me that's the time to really ramp up the innovation. Because I mean, everybody else is kind of they might be just kind of sitting back resting on their laurels. It's like why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it goes to the big trends for 2017. I usually do a blog once a year on top 6 things for 2018. I haven't gotten that far yet, so that'll be coming in the next couple months.
Let me know. We'll have you on. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
And I always like doing that one. It usually requires me to sit down and rethink about a bunch of things. So.
Little research.
But it's always one of those like sit down and think about what has changed in the world, right? And I'm fortunate. You and I both have a bajillion children, so
a little bit
getting that perspective. Where I was just watching this weekend where. My oldest son, who's 7, he did a trip down to San Francisco to visit his grandparents by himself on a plane, right?
What?
Yeah,
Wow,
and
nice.
which is nice. His reaction when I told him about the ticket was, "Oh, that's awesome, Dad. Did you upgrade me?" Right.
What?
I'm like, "You're 7. This is absurd." Right? No, I did not upgrade you.
Enjoy the
nor
flight.
would I. Right. Exactly. But to see, that vision from a 7-year-old where he already associates wanting something different and wanting something more, and just see that reaction real time, and then you start applying that to, well, what other lenses do we have on where we think it's absurd that a 7-year-old would want to upgrade himself, right? But that's not his world. That's my world, right? That's my lens. So trying to look at those kind of things, whether it's from technology or business model or any of those kind of things. So
watch out for when he gets on the plane, because you can always upgrade while you're on the plane.
Yeah,
too,
totally.
so.
Yeah. Well, so his next reaction was, well, if you won't upgrade me, can I use my own money? He had a lemonade stand this morning. He made a killing, and he's like, "I'll just pay the $200 myself." I'm like, "That's not the point, right? The point is you're 7, right?
Just enjoy the ride, all right?
Right. What are you gonna get the stewardess to give you a cocktail? Like, come on, like.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, it's foreign. So.
Never know. All right, Kurt. Always a fun pleasure
Absolutely.
talking to you, and all of some great information.
Pleasure, always.
Keep up the good work. All right. Let's
Thanks,
revisit again when you get the 6 items going.
Exactly.
All right?
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right.
Thank
see
you,
ya.
sir. Right on. 11 minutes of fun.
Cool.
Absolutely. Live stream.